Hello ratbags, it's Jade, welcome to a patch notes video and talking about Elder Scrolls Skyrim Anniversary Edition. Has it been worth it? I'm going to give you my top 5 things I'd like to see added or wish they'd done with this edition of the game, and basically, am I enjoying it? But I will cover the patch notes, most importantly for PlayStation players or people that have been having the black screen bug. Hopefully that's going to be fixed, but there's still a few bugs missing that won't be fixed just yet. Looks like they'll be coming in the next patch hopefully. And briefly going to talk about a Borderlands Skyrim mod that's been done. This ain't the first time, but it looks like it's one of the better versions. And also, what's going on with some websites using my videos for guides, but can't somehow put my name in any of their articles. They're linking me for sure, and that looks great. But I'd kind of wish a lot of these, which quite a few, would actually list my name in their articles. I think it's the done thing. Anywho, since I've not been plugging much, give me a follow on Twitter, come join my Discord, and let's go. So this update actually hit a good few hours ago now, so if you haven't updated your game, go ahead and do so. In time with an issue that occurred when purchasing the Anniversary Edition upgrade on PS4 and then switching to PS5, that should be fixed. An issue where catching a fish wouldn't trigger the appropriate animation on PS4. An issue preventing some doors in Riel from opening properly. I do believe that's to do with a certain quest that I've already covered, and I know some of you guys are having a problem with that. Fixed an issue where Russian and Polish notes were not displaying text properly. Fixed an issue where German and French players were given incorrect menu text. And the most important of all, where players will experience a black screen upon launching. Now I realise that's not all of the problems. I know some of you guys are still having the problem where you're running out of memory, and that's apparently an old issue that affected the Creation Club when they introduced it back with the special edition. Obviously a bunch of my videos you guys have been commenting and telling me exactly what kind of issues you've been having, and hopefully these will be remedied in another fix. It does look like they are already working on the next batch, and so hopefully any more game breaking bugs will be nerfed pretty quickly. Something I don't know if you guys want me to check out, but I had the idea of looking at this new mod that turns Skyrim into Borderlands. Shout out to CansGCat Modding. This is the guy that actually made it, and he's put out a video showcasing what it looks like, and I've got to say, it looks amazing. They've tried this before, a good few years ago now they made one, and it just wasn't nowhere near as good. The players' faces or NPCs' faces was all blurry and all sorts, but this looks interesting. I like the idea of messing around a little bit with Skyrim and trying out mods. Believe it or not, I've never really played with Skyrim modded. I loved this game 10 years ago. I stopped playing it 8 years ago. I tried again when they introduced the survival mode for special edition, but I had way too much going on with other games back in the day, covering Ark and Conan and all sorts, and so I ended up having to sacrifice me playing Skyrim altogether. So it's been really great that I've been hitting it again. That's why I'm a bit rusty with certain things. You might notice a few little mistakes. Obviously I was pounding out video upon video. But yeah, definitely want to give that a shot. Go and check out the full video, which I'll leave in the comment section. Go and give him a little like. And yeah, if you want to see me do a proper little run through this, let me know. I couldn't find it on the actual Xbox store, so I'm guessing it might be a mod that I have to actually download myself. I did try downloading it, but I'm still a bit of a noob with installing some of these sometimes. So I'm going to have to redo some bits and bobs, I think. Skyrim as a Borderlands experience, what do you reckon? And then overall, what about Skyrim? I have really enjoyed getting back into Skyrim because no matter what, it's a great game. Now, I'm not some sort of Bethesda fanboy. I have been really critical of some of the stuff they've done, particularly over Fallout 76, like massively critical. So much so I won't play the game on my channel anymore. I covered it at its launch. I tried to get up behind it a little bit. I kind of like the idea of it being a survival PvP experience. Shock horror. I thought it was at least doing something different and unique and wasn't just another Fallout 4 with friends. But of course, they ended up making it Fallout 4 with friends, and they ended up doing a bunch of pay-to-win features, which I just couldn't get behind. I don't like the way they do their servers. Well, they call them servers, but technically it's really just co-op play that you're paying for without anyone else bothering you. And I won't get into it because I'll be here all day. But yes, one of the reasons I'm not a big fanboy is because of that. And so I do treat a lot of stuff that Bethesda do with a bit of skepticism. But I can't deny that Skyrim is an amazing game, and it's been great reconnecting with one of my favourites of all time. I put over 1,000 hours easily into the first edition. But there are 5 things I absolutely wish they would actually add or do something about. And I may save this for a big longer video as well. I thought I might actually do a proper review. 1, it's criminal they don't have any kind of graphic settings. Surely there could have been some extra volumetric lighting added or some ray tracing added for next gen. The fact that they've just ported this over with barely any improvements, it's kind of sucky. And my god, someone please turn up the gamma or the contrast. So many of the actual textures are so dark. You look into creatures' eyes and stuff, any time there's some black, and it's just like the lighting doesn't work in this game. If modders can turn stuff into Borderlands, can we not at least do something with the really bad lighting and dark textures in the game sometimes? 2, it seems a little bit rubbish, but I want some actual proper save names in the game where I can actually change the name of my save and have them listed a bit better. Literally having to make sure I'm reading the right version sometimes. And obviously I know it load up the last save you've done, but we all know that we've all reloaded the game a couple times now probably just to see if a decision panned out a different way or to unlock a certain different type of weapon, whether or not you're doing the bitter cup missions or something along them lines. So yeah, some way to actually do that kind of stuff. I really wish they'd done a bit more fishing. It's a joke that it just cuts into a scene where you can't move, can't do anything. It's not really what I would consider a fishing little thing. It's more just a little time consuming game mode. Whereas some people actually would genuinely like just to leave it on the fishing screen, have you sitting by the edge of the water. And I think it would have been nicer if it didn't take you into that set screen, or at least give us the option to look around a little bit. I know it happens pretty quickly anyway, but it does feel like more of an annoyance. Also some XP while fishing. I'm not a big fan of fishing in games by the way either, but I definitely recognise some people were saying they'd like to see that, and I kind of agree. 4, there should be more controller options. There isn't enough to do with remapping or changing stuff. I'd really like it if I could change the sticks. I still find there's something off where they've imported some PC controls over to console. I'm realising it more and more, but it moves too quickly with the right stick sometimes when you're spinning around. Almost to the point where it takes you past what you're aiming at, if that's a way to explain it. I just feel like it could have done with a brush up. I could have gone all out and gave us more options to customize it and add abilities. Some dead zone, options, and maybe a bit for accessibility, not just controls, but overall. That's what a lot of remapping your buttons can offer and help with as well. And it just seems that, yeah, they've missed a beat here with a lot of the controls, especially for console, obviously. And 5, yeah, I really wish they'd fleshed out survival mode a bit better. It's okay, a lot of people complaining, saying it's too hard. Man, after playing so many survival games over the years, the survival mode in Skyrim is not that bad, honestly. But it doesn't gel well sometimes. It is extremely tough anytime you start going anywhere remotely cold. We should get some sliders for it. I definitely feel they could have made the learning curve for it a little bit better. Now there are other creation contents added to it as well. It does make it slightly easier. But if somehow you're not playing the Anniversary Edition and you're just picking up maybe the free content that got added, the 4 updates, then yeah, you might be having a big hard time without some of the stuff like camping, the extra backpacks, as well as a bunch of the followers that all give you a bit of extra weight. I know you can get followers anywhere, but a lot of these Creation Club stuff allow you to have pets and followers, and pretty much means that you help you out massively in survival. I'm going to do a big survival tips video coming soon. But yeah, that's I guess my top 5 things I would like to have seen added or changed to this Anniversary Edition. There's probably some more little gripes I've got, so like I said, I might save that for a proper full review, but I also want to praise it in the right way as well. So yeah, look out for that video coming by maybe at the weekend. But all in all, the Anniversary Edition is just a little bit of a letdown with that kind of stuff. Now, in terms of the content itself, I'm pretty happy with the Creation Club content. It's obviously given me hours and hours of content to actually play. I've done about 30 videos now, something stupid like that. 39 apparently. And easily, if you are spending maybe 20 bucks to upgrade or 15 quid or whatever it was, you are probably getting your money's worth. I know there are thousands of mods out there. I know there's lots of mods out there that do just about the same job or even better. But mods are still a little bit daunting, and yes, they do stop you from getting achievements, and some people still feel like they can be a bit buggy and a bit broken sometimes. To have all this fresh new content available as part of the Anniversary Edition of it, I think it's a good one. I am amazed that I still had to download the unofficial patch to help out with so many bugs that are still in the game all these years later, but I guess that is still Bethesda. So mods are still good. I think some of these quests are too short, but they are kind of what you expect within the Skyrim world. And I think some of the quests are great, they'll flesh it out. I've still not done a couple of them, like the Tribunal, like Saints and Sinners, like these 4 Seasons. I've been focusing on smaller little guides that I knew that some of the bigger tubers that cover Skyrim stuff probably wouldn't have hit straight away. And that's done me good. I've got lots of views from that, and that's what I kind of want to grow my audience that likes to see me play this type of thing, and not just survival. But yeah, I can see how it's been worth it. What it does show though is that no way it ever was any of this stuff worth the kind of prices they had it as. $7 or whatever for a quest that might only last maybe 45 minutes, 50 minutes at most. And yes, I know there's a bunch of games now that sell cosmetic items and skins for $20, etc. But for me, I still don't think any of the new skins or the armor pieces or weapons in this game are worth anything close to like $3 or $4, $5. Not separately anyway. So I do think that the Anniversary Edition is altogether a good package. If you're brand new to the game, you're going to play one of the best games ever, even if it is a little bit dated in some ways. And if you're thinking of still upgrading and you haven't made the plunge yet, I've got to say, I still think it's just about worth it. I can be critical, but I can also appreciate, yeah, it's just about it. I would have liked to have seen, like I said, some of them options from my top 5. You never know, they may add some of that stuff. But for sure, it's going to give older players a reason to come back into it. That isn't just mods, that is something directly from combination of modders and the actual devs themselves, and I think it does make a cohesive experience all throughout. The new homes themselves, they're all great, all different ways you can go and play. They really lend themselves a lot to role playing even more, and there's definitely some challenges as well. With some of the older DLCs like the Crusader kit, doing a good playthrough where you never break a crime while wearing it, that is a significant challenge. Or like someone's already done and beaten the game with just a fishing rod. So yeah, overall I'm pleased with it. Agree, disagree, it's only an opinion, don't have to get upset and start smashing that dislike button. No one can see it now anyway. But do let me know what you love most about this new version of the game, and do tell me what you really don't like about it and what you wish that would change. And then onto my little gripe. GameRant, Attack of the Fanboy, and probably some others as well. They're all sites that I never use. I pretty much will use a wiki, I'll go into a Discord, and I'll find out info that way rather than use some of these sites sometimes, because often they're a little bit slow. And I can't stand a huge amount of bloody advertisements you get all over them. But clearly some of these guys like my content, and I don't blame them. I have been making really short guides. I was just trying to get into the algorithm, and that's one way to do it. I've not covered Skyrim in years. I'm mostly a survival channel, so I knew it'd be quite hard. That's why I've been doing such short ones. And I kind of do like doing short to the point guides. But GameRant have literally covered my videos 4 or 5 times. Use them to generate revenue for themselves. And not once anywhere is there anything that says, hey, go and check out JADE-PG. They've got the link there, sure. And that's nice. Not everyone has to do it. They could have just maybe used a picture. But it does really illustrate their point a bit more, hopefully. But I still think it's a done thing to just list at the bottom somewhere. So William Parks, if you're watching, maybe not for me, but in future, if you do use other YouTubers' contents and stuff, it's just a bit nice to include their name somewhere. I do it when I do videos. If I'm talking about stuff that I'm using a whole reference for, especially if it's something really nitty and gritty, a bit of a scoop by a publication, rather than just a regurgitating piece that everyone's done, I always try and list the reporter, or at least mention the actual website I'm looking at. And I generally will always leave links in the comment section as well. Nice that some people have been watching some of this stuff via some of these sites. But yeah, it does kind of suck that, you know, some of them don't necessarily list who's actually creating them. Reading a name and reading an actual name in an article sticks with you, believe it or not, quite a bit. It also reinforces the channel that you're now going to go and click on, and then that means hopefully someone will subscribe. So it's not just me being a bit of a, you know, egotistical bastard. Genuinely, it does help if you really want to grow subs and stuff. People actually reading your name is a psychological thing. That's why it's a good idea to mention your name at the start of every video, which I've not been doing for these guides. There you go, pet peeve out of the way. And that's it. If we get any updates about Skyrim Anniversary Edition, I'll let you know. I'm still pounding out the content. I'm still desperately trying to see if I got the time to do 100 days of Skyrim survival. And thank you a lot for the support. We've been growing massive amount of subs in the last 2 weeks. Not since Assassin's Creed Valhalla last year have I had such a big amount of subs hit in one space. So I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you a lot. And I will be here with more guides. Until next time, laters.